accused the Megeri administration of abuse of NFF status in its constitution of NFF Electoral Committee by altering the list of persons approved by the Congress at the 2013 General Assembly in Warri, Delta State, and inaugurating a different committee. A new NFF Electoral Committee and NFF Appeal Committee were constituted. The Extraordinary Congress unanimously endorsed the dissolution of the Aminu Megeri-led NFF Executive Committee and the immediate termination of the employment of all management staff of the NFF. The Congress approved the appointment of Mr. Lawrence Katkin as acting Secretary General of Nigerian Football Federation, pending the appointment of the Substantive General Secretary.
Welcome back. Let me start with you. And I'm smiling already, but give us a background. A lot of people might not know the man that we just saw, and describe him in detail. Then we'll go into the issues. Well,
Obin Ogba is the current chairman of the Ebonyi FA.
Okay.
He was also an executive committee member of the Sani Lulu-led board. He was in that board.
All right.
So he's currently the FA chairman now. So that is the position he's holding. And I think by the statutes, he's qualified to be in this AGM.
As a delegate?
As a delegate. By the statute, if you want to follow the statutes, he's qualified. Perhaps they saw him as the most credible person there. And that was why he was...
Or experienced person.
Experienced.
Because he's used to this kind of situation. He was there...
He was there 4 years ago.
He was there, during the 2006 episode.
Absolutely.
He was active in the 2010 episode, and he's there for 2014.
Comes with a lot of experience. Okay, we'll discuss the issues now. I'm very sure it's going to come up on your screen now. The decisions that were made in that extraordinary Congress. Then we'll look at it, the fallout, and what might likely follow. Those things. But let me come to you, Tony, and. I know you've been following this despite the fact that you were in Brazil, and I would really like you to explain things to our viewers as if, you're just bringing them up to scratch. What were some of the decisions taken at that Congress before we look at the merits of those decisions?
Well, I'm sure that
will come up very shortly.
Come up on the screen because I have them here. So let me just try to read some of the things that they said. You heard Obin Ogba say some of those things yourself. In the usual style, it starts with expressing appreciation to President Goodluck Jonathan for support in his personal capacity.
Disappointment over the performance
for his total, unflinching support to the Nigerian Football Federation for the development of the Nigerian game. That's usually the first line, to make sure that the most important man in Nigeria, you have him by your side. And then we'll go into...
Okay, that's it on screen.
That's it on your screen. The first one is for President Jonathan. Every communique, every Congress decision, the first one is for Mr. President. That's the most important man in Nigeria. Then members of the NFF commended the players and the officials for their impressive showing, in line with the position of the presidency after the Federal Executive Council meeting last week. And then you now come to the serious ones. Number 3, Congress bemoaned the unfortunate incident of the international embarrassment caused Nigeria 2014 World Cup by the failure of Aminu Megeri-led board to fully and firmly resolve issues of finance with the Super Eagles ahead of the championship. You remember that in the middle of the competition there were issues of appearance fees, and then before the game against France, money were shared up till early in the morning. So these are the issues. And then Congress accused the Megeri administration of shortchanging grassroots development. That's what you also see as number 4. Failure to regularly avail state football associations of annual grants, abuse of NFF statutes in a constitution of NFF Electoral Committee, altering the list of persons approved by the Congress, and all of that. And they also endorsed the solution of the Aminu Megeri-led board and the immediate termination of the employment of all management staff. The Congress endorsed the solution of the boards of the National League, Nigeria National League, Nigeria Women League, the Nationwide League, that the secretaries are to take over the running of the leagues and report to the General Secretary of the NFF. You can see very clearly from this that the LMC was left
Was
out,
not- yeah.
was not touched,
Was not touched
by
in
this
this one.
Congress
Okay.
decision, because the LMC is a private,
Or is seen as
is seen as a private body. Although I understand as well that the National League is a private body, they've been registered with the CAC. The same applies for the Amateur League. I'm not too sure about the Women League, but these are some of the things that maybe they will sort out in the days ahead, because I've been told, from some of those there, that there's an adjustment to this. They've not terminated the boards of the leagues. What they've done is they've just sacked the chairman of those boards. For me, that is very strange, because the board members will pick a chairman from amongst them.
all right.
So is it that the board members that were chairmen before, do they cease to be board members? I don't understand. That's
Those are the
that's the
issues.
confusion for me. And then the Congress approved the appointment of Lawrence Katken as acting General Secretary of the Nigerian Football Federation, pending the appointment of a substantive General Secretary. These are some of the decisions that they reached.
Yeah. The
At the
last ones you said,
extraordinary- yeah.
obviously the most important ones, the dissolution
Of the board,
led by
Executive Committee of Aminu
yeah.
Megeri, and then the leagues. For
All
me,
right.
those are the issues. They left the LMC out because it's a private body, but the National League, the Women League, the Amateur League, we're told that there's an adjustment to this, that what they have done is to remove the chairman of those boards. The boards are still intact and can still run those different leagues. But it is curious for me, because what happens to those members that were appointed as chairman of those boards? Do they still maintain their status as board members, or can we assume that all these boards have lost a member each?
Okay, all right. Before we go to what led to this incident, let me ask Onye, after listening to everything that Tony has said, decision taken by the Congress, how would you analyze everything? Or maybe let me please devil's advocate and say, does he have a right standing?
Well, for me, I think those decisions were afterthoughts.
Okay.
No, like Tony said, maybe they were a bit hasty.
All right.
Wherever it's coming from, we don't know. Some people are reading meanings, but what we know for sure that there was an event on Saturday, the General Congress. But some of the decisions, like he said, were hasty. They said initially when the communique came out, said the board of the leagues, nationwide, amateur, NNL. Now they have,
After some thoughts,
maybe after observing that they made some blunders, they are now saying, okay, we are going to remove the heads, the presidents. So it shows,
chairman of the boards.
it shows that the decisions were untidy. And when you are dealing with an international body like FIFA, you have to be organized. You have to make sure that you take the right decision. And I think we are just going around in circles, if you ask me. The same thing happened in 2006.
I'm
in 2010.
yeah, and I'm curious about that part, because I don't understand what the position is with FIFA, whether the Congress, yes, the Congress of the NFF is the supreme
yes,
body. I don't know whether they have the powers to terminate the leagues, because the leagues, according to FIFA, are supposed to be run independently. They have their own Congress.
yeah.
They have their own ultimate decision-making bodies, which are supposed to run there, because they have their different secretariats. They have their different congresses, which are made up of clubs, chairmen of clubs, in the amateur, for example, in the Women League, and in the National League. So are you just sending the decision down for
There's
them
a
to
whole lot
swallow?
of complications.
That can throw up a lot of
All
court
right.
cases going forward. That, for me, needs a little bit of clarification, because I don't understand if a Congress of the NFF can come down and descend on bodies that are supposed to be independent on their own. Although they derive their life from the NFF, they're supposed to stand on their own and run their things independently.
All right, Tony, let's talk about what got us here, and also look at this. Before the Congress and all that, there was this court order, and I want you to take us through some of those things as we now analyze the issue. There was a court order, and well, need I say, there is also the threat of a FIFA ban somewhere. But let's look at the court order in its merits and how it was followed before the Congress now took place.
I don't know. I'm curious about this as well, because the court order says, almost everybody is involved in this court order, including the Congress itself. The court order also said the most senior secretarial staff in the NFF should assume the position of General Secretary which the minister followed.
He
But
followed-
it is the same court order that said they shouldn't parade themselves, whether they are a Congress or they are football association, they shouldn't parade themselves.
And all the
So-
decisions you read came out